Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for being here. If you're new here, welcome to Sacral Butterfly. On my channel, I help people to develop a growth mindset and boost their self-esteem through meditation, prayer, mindfulness, reflection, and self-awareness. And we're all just trying to live a better life here. So if you're new, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. If you're coming back, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. If you like this sort of content, self development, self improvement, I invite you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and take a look at my other videos, and don't forget to like and comment. I want to hear more about you guys and sort of your thoughts and what you all are going through, and how we can help each other. So for those of you who are back for another week, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate all of your comments, all of your likes, support, even just watching the video and sharing it with friends. I really appreciate you guys. I know last week I said I was going to do a poll, and I didn't because I actually had a topic in mind that I really wanted to talk about. Last week I had sort of the same situation where I wanted to talk about a particular topic, and I want to do the same thing today. Again, if you hear any like noises in the background, it's my dog. He's all up in the way. So anyways, next week, I think I'm going to do a poll. There is one more topic that I want to talk about, but I might do a poll next week. We'll see. If you don't see it, it's because I've decided to go ahead and move forward with the other topic that I want to talk about, prioritize that. Hugo. Anyway, so on today's topic, I want to talk about how to get over your ex. So last week I talked about why it can be hard for people to get over a breakup and really let go. And so I wanted to sort of continue on the exploration of breakups and, the feelings that people feel after they've been with someone. Maybe they broke up with them, or maybe, they were the one who had to make the decision to break up. I've been more so focusing on relationships where maybe you were not expecting the breakup. So it's a little bit different when you were the one who was not expecting the breakup. So I'm more so focusing on that side of things. But if you're someone who maybe had to break up with someone and you're thinking about returning to the relationship because maybe you're in a state of lack, or your fear, right, is coming across your brain because you're like, maybe I won't find someone else, then this video can be for you too. So today's topic is how to get over your ex. So I know it should be easy, right? We should be, they do us dirty. You keep it moving, right? It should be so easy, a no-brainer. But the reality is that breakups can be really hard, and there's, it's like a roller coaster, really, is ups and downs, and it's not as straightforward as we want it to be. And really, there are some certain things that obviously affect how we deal with relationships, and then obviously the breakups afterwards. So I actually thought about this particular topic because I was reading this book, and I'll make sure to link it down below. Actually, I was listening to it. It's an audio book that I was listening to. The title is How to Break Your Addiction to a Person by Dr. Howard Halpern. I think it is Halpern. Dr. Howard M. Halpern, PhD. And so it really is a great book because it's, obviously sometimes when you're in a breakup, you get so used to someone, or you get used to the idea of being with a person. And that really does affect how we deal with the breakup. So I want to kind of walk you through sort of what's been helping me through my past relationships that just didn't work out. And I hope that they're useful for you too. And another thing I want people to remember is that, when you're going through a breakup, when it's unexpected, especially, there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of, like I said, ebbs and flows. So really give yourself grace and really just understand that it's going to be a process. And the sooner you apply these, the easier it will become for you to get through the painful moments. But you really have to be intentional about doing some of these things. But the first thing I would think is important, and I learned this in the book, is, you have to learn to stop the idealization or pedestalizing of the person. I don't know if that's a real word, but putting them on a pedestal, right? So a lot of times when a person, especially when a person breaks up with us, we are sort of like oh my gosh, what's wrong with me, right? What am I not living up to? Side note, I hate this lighting. I really do. I really hate this lighting. I'm going to be in the car next time. But all right, time back in. We start pedestalizing this person and we don't really think of the qualities that we bring to the table, right? And we brought to the table. And we start thinking of them as this higher being. And that's not to say that the person is not a good person or they don't have great qualities. I'm not telling you to dog them out, right? Obviously, if they hurt you, you're probably in your dogging out stage. I feel you. But what I'm saying is more so, okay, the qualities that they brought to the table when things were good, we basically overemphasize them. We're like, oh, they always picked up my phone call. We always talked on the phone. Da, 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 da. And then you realize, like, wait a minute, I was the one leading that conversation half of the time, right? So we start like idealizing the people versus really centering on what we brought to the table, who we were as people, our qualities, and why we were so good, right? And why we are so good and why we will be so good for the person that God has in store for us, right? So definitely when there's this idealization, limerence that happens, all of these things that we create in our minds around a situation that keep us in that relationship that already ended, right? It's already done, right? It's already in the past. It's like it's not even happening anymore, and we're like still there in our brains. So stop that. And the only way you can stop that is by when you do see yourself doing it, like you have to catch yourself and say, okay, what about that, situation, you know, what about this person am I idealizing? How am I putting them on a pedestal right now, right? So catch yourself immediately. Catch yourself immediately. A lot of self accountability here, okay? Another thing that I thought was really great about the book was that, and this goes a little bit back towards like what I was talking about last week and how a lot of times we'll second guess ourselves. When a person breaks up with us, you know, a lot of times the inclination is to like wonder why. You're like, why not me? Like, or sometimes you might beg or you might try to save the relationship. And, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you broke up with them and then you like some fear comes in and you're just like, no, I must go back. I'm making a huge mistake. But, ultimately you have to weigh the benefits of the relationship. Really, here we go. Okay. Um, so weigh the benefits over the costs, right? So this goes back to the pedestalization, the idealization. Again, I don't know if pedestalization is a word. I'm just creating it. But this exercise that he gives in the book is really great because it could be one of those exercises that you use when you are putting the person up here and you're putting yourself down here, right? So it's one of those exercises that you can use. So in the book, he talks about weighing the benefits over the costs, and there's 20 things you should rate, right? And the rating scale is you should either rate it very high, fair, low, or very low. And when you're doing this exercise, and I intend to do it too, I haven't done it yet, but I just, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. I'm going to, this is great information. But I want to do it when I'm not angry. Like I want to do it when I'm not angry because then I might say, oh, this was, awful, right? But maybe it wasn't awful. Or maybe I'm like in my sad mode where I'm like, oh my God, he was so great, right? And then I'll be like, oh, the communication was very high, but it was probably like more low, right? So just those kinds of things. Just remember your emotions, your mood, how you're feeling before you assess something like this. I think that that's important. He didn't say anything like that. Again, I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just using my common sense because I know that obviously how we feel can really determine how we, you know, how we process something, how we perceive something. So the 20 different categories that you want to evaluate include: one, general emotional contentment with the relationship, right? So how did you feel in the relationship? Two is communication. You want to rate your communication. Three, you want to rate your companionship. Four, you want to compare the sharing of interests. Five, you want to compare practical support. Six, you want to compare emotional support. Seven, you want to compare growth support. Eight, feeling loved by my partner. Nine, feeling love towards my partner. Did I just say nine? I'm sorry. Yeah, nine. 10, feeling respected by my partner. 11, feeling respect for my partner. 12, feeling trusted by my partner. 13, feeling trusting of my partner. 14, feeling nurtured by my partner. 15, feeling nurturing towards my partner. 16, enjoyment. 17, warmth. 18, sexual satisfaction. 19, feeling of self-esteem in the relationship. And 20, desire to spend time with my partner. So these are things that you use to evaluate the relationship, right? Because again, we can idealize a situation and we're not really thinking of the relationship as a whole. And I talked about this last week in my last video about how we'll stay in relationships where, that person is not even helping you grow, or maybe they just fill a particular need, like maybe they help you pay the rent. Literally, there's a lot of people living like that right now. And so, you have to think about these things. And I hope that this community, and I know that this community really wants to have fulfilling relationships. So I know that everything that I'm saying here now is really important to you, because you don't want to just have surface level, materialistic, one dimensional relationships with people. You truly believe in, love, like true love. And I do believe in love. And people can say, oh, you watch too many Disney movies all day, but it's like, no, I think that is something that is one of the most beautiful gifts that we have on this planet, and I've seen it with other people, so I know that it can happen, but it takes effort. So a lot of times we rob ourselves of that beautiful gift because we don't want to work on these things, right? Or we want to stay in these crappy relationships because we don't want to challenge ourselves to find better, because we are content, right? So I want to challenge you all to work with this exercise with me, which I'm planning on doing it this week, because I just have been really on this journey of reflection, right? Self-reflection, especially when I'm feeling down. So the third thing I think is important for you to do when you are getting over your ex is to practice mindfulness. So we've talked about mindfulness before, but mindfulness is really about being intentional with how you think about things, right? Challenging your thoughts. There's some people who will affirm what you say or what you feel. And it's like, not everything you think is actually real, right? Like, not everything we feel is real. Not everything that, we experience is truly the reality of what happened. It's what we experience based off of our own lens. So sometimes you have to challenge it. Like, I'm not telling you, if you were in a toxic relationship, to forget those things or to challenge abuse. No, abuse is abuse. You should, always stand up to abuse and walk away. But I'm more so talking about, when we say things like, oh, I feel like the relationship was perfect. Everything was great. I didn't see anything happening. It came out of nowhere. And then you start thinking back and you're like, maybe it wasn't perfect, right? There were certain things that were just not happening, right? So be mindful of those things, and really, if there are things that you are doubting about yourself, like that are affecting your self-esteem, be mindful of that and really challenge those beliefs, right? Those limiting beliefs that really keep us from seeing things how they truly are, thinking like, oh, there's something wrong with me because they didn't choose me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. Now, list the qualities that you have as a person, right? You have a great smile. Maybe you're energetic, right? Maybe you are super warm and loving in a relationship. You might tell yourself, oh, maybe I'm too skinny. Maybe I'm too big for this person. And you're like, no, I'm not to anything. I'm me, right? I'm me. And these are the great things that I bring to the table. And this is the type of person I want for the future, right? Being mindful and really, like I said, highlighting your values and your qualities in the relationship. Another thing that you should do to help you get over your ex is to spend time with family and friends, because, obviously they're going to bring out those beautiful qualities in you. They're going to remind you of why you are enough, right? Because sometimes we don't believe it in ourselves and we'll like doubt ourselves and talk crap to ourselves, which is sucks. But, catch yourself. And then have your friends and family remind you of that. If, you don't have a circle of people, maybe a therapist or someone, right? Community member, whoever, right? Who can remind you of that. And then finally, being okay with spending time alone, right? Because during a breakup, especially if you're living with someone, that's hard, right? You're like, I'm going to be alone forever. Like, that's the fear, right? It's just like, I'm going to be alone forever. Oh my God. I'm never going to find anyone. I'm never going to find anyone. I'm going to die alone, right? There's all these things that come to our minds. And we get scared to be alone, right? We forget the beauty in our own energy, right? So be alone for a little bit. Let go of that fear of being alone. There are so many things that you can discover about yourself when you're alone, even your own strength, right? Like, because it's easy to have like your friend around so you can lean on them, right? But we forget to lean on our own strength and I do a lot of praying, right? I believe in God, but I know some people don't, which I don't know. I just feel like it's great because I feel like, whenever I am alone, I'm never truly alone, right? Because I can always, pray and I have someone there who's with me, not obviously not a human being, but I don't ever truly feel alone. But even when I do doubt myself, I'm like, you got this. You're strong. You can get through this. Let's read this book together. Let's listen to this audiobook. Let's dance in the mirror. Let's sing our lungs out, right? I do all of that. Like, people, if they had a camera in my life, they would be like, okay, she's definitely out there, right? Because I like to do that. When I'm alone, I truly do. And, it just, I like to have fun, right? And that sort of energy really brings me out of my funk. So be alone. Be okay with being alone. You're going to be just fine. But I want to encourage you guys to truly feel what you're feeling. I know breakups are hard. Cry it out. You know, just know you're not alone. And I hope that these really help you to stay the track of healing. Some of you might be thinking of going back with that person, but I challenge you to take some time for yourself. Just kind of do these, right? Do these activities, see how they work for you. And then some of you might go back with your ex. That's fine. That's up to you. But, I just hope you don't go into a toxic relationship or stay in a toxic relationship just because of comfortability. So, yeah, I hope this information was helpful for you guys. And if you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share it with your friends, share it with a friend who's grieving a relationship, and comment what you think. Like, I want to hear from you guys. I appreciate all of you who already have commented and shared with your friends. You all are amazing, and you're helping to get the word out and the message across, right? Let's be better people every single day. So, thank you, and remember, although makeup can be a self-esteem booster, covering up what's on the outside won't truly heal what's on the inside. So, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.